change itself can be tough and it's daunting on a lot of people. So I'm going to share with you guys how I struggled going from corporate America to being a real estate agent. The struggle is real, and I know there's some people out there right now who are going through the same thing, changing careers, and you need some help. So in this video, let's get with that. All right, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Run it. Hey guys, how you doing? This is Sascha Chatman here with Chatman Realty Group, and we're powered and brokered by EXP. So in this particular video, we're going to talk about moving to corporate America. I'm going to tell you guys my story, and then we're going to get deeper into the things that I actually struggled with. Okay, so real quick, my story. For those who don't know, I used to be a hospital administrator. Okay, I have my bachelor's degree in biology pre-med. I have one master's in hospital service administration. I have a second master in Master of Science in Operations Management. So I was a project manager, plain Six Sigma dude, VP of operations. If there was a job in healthcare or department, it probably reported to me. So I've run cancer centers, ORs, ERs, housekeeping, dietary, you name it. If you made money, revenue cycle, finances. So I did quite a bit from a healthcare administrative standpoint. And, you know, there's a whole nother video I'll talk about how I was addicted to that income and how I made that journey over this way. Another video, we'll get into that one. But today I want to talk about the struggle of moving from one industry to something totally different, because it was a culture shock for me, right? So let's get into it. All right, so number one, you got to know yourself. Know thyself. I had a hard time with this one. All right, let me tell you guys why. You see me in the polo shirt and all this stuff right now. This is who you guys are seeing now. But when I first came over, I was used to being in boardrooms, okay? I was used to wearing a suit every single day. Legitimately, I have like 50 suits in my closet right now that I have not worn. Suits, ties, cufflinks, the whole 9 yards. I must admit, I look good. I look really good. Number two, I needed to know me. I need to know me a little bit better. You know, as a hospital administrator and someone, I have always been given feedback from my DISC assessments to my Myers-Briggs to performance reviews and stuff like that. But getting to really know yourself and understanding who you are and what your skill set is huge in transitioning over. Number two, scheduling. Whew, boy, that was rough. That was rough. And I know some of you may be struggling with your schedule. Let me tell you why I struggled. I struggled with my schedule because I wasn't used to the freedom. That's right. I wasn't used to the freedom of not having to be somewhere, not knowing what I had to do. I had no accountability, no checks and balances in my schedule. And I started squirreling, man. I was squirreling all day, every day. And I ended up doing all kinds of stuff that had no sense, nothing. I had things that kept me on track in healthcare of what I needed to do. Now, as a guy who got paid a salary, you're very much in charge of your schedule in healthcare, but I had an assistant. Okay, so I must admit, you know, she was awesome. She managed me. All of them were. All the assistants I had managed me, and I appreciate that because I'm all over the place sometimes. So that was number one. And there was no one to say, boom, sit me down and say, this is what you got to do. This is what you got to do. Sascha, we got to get this done. That's tough. I needed that desperately, okay? So check yourself on things like that, okay? Which leads me to my next one, accountability, all right? There's no one here to hold your hand and hold you accountable in real estate. And if you don't have that, it's going to be more than just about your schedule. And also when you don't have a good plan and strategy, that drives me. So for me, what drove me and what I had to do was the expectations, the metrics, the plans, the goals I had to achieve through budgeting and things of that nature. That was super important. That drove my daily actions, my monthly goals, all of that. I didn't have that in real estate and I was lost. I'm talking about accountability in the budget and what I was spending. I'm talking about accountability with my time. I'm talking about accountability in the actions of things I had to go after and do. No accountability meant I was everywhere, spending money like crazy, just spitballing, throwing things at the wall. And that didn't make sense until I checked myself. And then sometimes just, I hate to say this, just having a boss, right? Having someone that you report to who's supervising you and telling you that these are your expectations, you got to do these things right here, that helps Okay, it helps. So if you come from a structured job in a structured environment, that really helps. Coming to something where you have complete freedom and no accountability can be jarring. And if you don't check yourself, you will, well, wreck yourself. Number 4, assessing your skill set. Okay, you really got to understand what your skill set is and how you work versus the skill set of a really good real estate agent. Okay, and you have to observe some people. So I had to really observe my skill set in comparison to my peers, and I started realizing that my skill set was very different. And that's not a bad thing. Let me be very clear about that. I felt like the skill set that I brought to the table, being a Lean Six Sigma guy, being a project engineer, being a guy who's really big on metrics and strategic planning, was going to give me a leg up on other real estate agents. But the other thing I want to talk about skill set is this. You need to understand the gap that you do not have. And I really didn't understand that. So trying to figure out what makes a good real estate agent versus where I was and how I married those two. That was a big one for me to kind of figure out. Okay, time for some truth. All right, a lot of truth here. Check your ego. I had to check my ego. Right now, it's big back again. Okay, it's big again. But when I first started, it wasn't really. I didn't have it in check because I had this ego of who I was and this aura about myself or this belief in myself that I always took this confidence from a healthcare perspective. And I tried to bring that over completely into real estate and think, I'm going to go out and I'm going to crush this thing. And a lot of agents have it. And you need to have that confidence in that psyche that you will. But you also need to be coachable. You need to be able to listen. And you need to be able to listen to those who've done it before and take their advice. And I must admit, at first, I wasn't coachable. It wasn't. I fancied myself for being a smart guy. And I'm just like, I got that. And then I realized I have this incredible skill set, but I can't sell. So the moment I checked my ego and I decided, okay, I'm going to put this ego in check here, Sascha, and I am going to really just open myself up to learn like a sponge, man, my business took off. And I did. So that's a big one. All right, guys, those are my top 5 issues that I had when I was trying to move over from corporate America into real estate. And I know some people are going through and struggling with the same thing. So I'm going to make a part 2 to this about the skill set that I brought over and the solutions that I have on how you can move from corporate America into real estate and be successful. So I hope this video was good for you guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions about moving over from your position that you're in right now, okay, in your career, and coming over here, then I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. And you can schedule with me down below in the description. Hope you guys are doing well. Peace.